Hello everyone, Praise Good here, and welcome back to more of Tears of the Kingdom. Last time we made our way to Lookout Landing, basically your starting point for the entire game. And now that we're here, we're already heading right back off to where Hyrule Castle is. Or was. Now, I'm going to talk to this guy here. I don't know if we do this now or after we talk to Hawes, but I'm going to go talk to this guy. Hello!
Glad to have you back, Link. My name's Scorpius. I've been charged with managing Lookout Landing. If you have any questions about the place at all, come right on in. I'll answer with the best I can. Now please, allow me to open up the emergency shelter.
Now while he's opening this up, I will mention that as of this point in the game, even before this point in the game, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and go straight to Hyrule Castle, underneath Hyrule Castle, should you find a way to get down there, and go fight the final boss of the game right now. As of this second, in this story, you could go there, finish the game, right now. It is ill-advised, and you will probably die unless you are Dark Souls speedrun expert. But nothing's stopping you.
This underground vault is used as an emergency shelter for the royal family. Now we're making constant use of it. Feel free to make yourself at home in our vault. Use any equipment you want.
So we're going to go down here just to see people, talk to people. This guy will talk about fusing, which I've talked about. They've already made a Boko Reaper, if you want to have that to mess around with. And you can also take another weapon. Talk about the decay, which you can kind of see it on that weapon there. Most weapons have a decay function or property to them, and they look like this tarnished bit you see here. Even if they're not rusted, a weapon that is not fused with something is going to break very quickly. So they're pushing the fuse mechanic because it's a new mechanic. This character right here is going to have a, I will say daily, either real world daily or every time a certain event happens, quest you can do where you bring them some kind of food, and they will use it to make some kind of to basically make a dish for you for free, quote unquote, and also have the recipe registered so you can make it again in the future. Could it be, do you have an apple? Take the apple. So I won't be talking with this guy constantly, but basically he's a good source of inspiration if you're looking for items to cook or things you want to try cooking. Now, cooking, I haven't talked about a whole lot. I'm talking about cooking a whole lot, but for a lot of things, like there's some things that will make more sense. Well, that will make a little less sense if you're not super fluent with cooking, like me. But basically, if you think you can make it into a meal in the real world, you can make it into a meal in this game. For the most part, there are a few exceptions that don't make sense, even if you are talented with cooking crafts. This lady will be important for later. I'm going to talk with her just to kind of expedite this a tiny bit, but just because of something that will happen in a little bit, they'll come back to that will probably expedite something. Also, we have beds. If you want to expedite, recover hearts or expedite to a certain time of day, rest in a bed. We have a goddess statue here if you have lights of blessing. And that's pretty much everything you can do underneath in the emergency barracks for now. Anyway, let's proceed on. Let's stop at well, I'm going to leave a few things behind, but let's proceed on with the quest for now. Yes, I realize that statue was talking to me. That's not going to be related to anything we can do right now. This structure here, which I'm going to go ahead and hop up to really quick. Until we get to a certain point in the adventure and activate a certain thing. Oh, can we even... Oh, I guess we can activate it right now. I don't remember this being here, by the way. So, hi. So, hey, remember that crystal refinery I said to make sure to make note of? This is me being dumb and never talking to this NPC until I just happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye one time, like 50 hours into the game. So now that we're off of the Sky Islands, this particular construct will be here to do the same energy well refining that we could do up on the Sky Islands. And it will also be marked in your map. So, much easier to access and probably better to access than I was before. Anyway, so let's talk about our adventure log, which is well, we've been having our main quest, and we even did our side quest. So, quests in this game, this adventure log is divided up into 5 sections, as you can see, and they are, I'm going to forget them all. They're going to be as follows. They will be main quests, side quests, as you can see here, side stories, which are going to be longer, more involved side quests, which involve you going to various locations in the world, but are kind of like, well, they're a longer quest chain, much like the main quest, so you will have to constantly be checking in and whatnot to do them at certain places. I forget what the third option is. I remembered it now. Shrine quests, because doing some shrines aren't just cut and paste, hey look, that's a shrine, welcome to shrine. There are going to be some that are specifically labeled a shrine quest, shrine side quest, that you will have to tackle. And then that bottom option there is going to be, as weird a place as put it, cutscene review. Or a cutscene viewer. You can basically watch any cutscene again once you see it for the first time. Also, album has been added to our map. Right now, it only has these 3 pictures. We haven't gotten the function to add to this album, but we'll get there in due time, which will also add to the 5th tab up there. Yeah. Anyway, something. Well, I'm not going to do it now, but why is this stamp here? Oh, it's counting for. No, it's not counting for that. Why is this? Why do I have these pins up here in the sky? Not because I saw them in the sky, is it? Gosh, I hope not. Anyway. Oh, I talked about the Purapad. Now, there is also some shrines we'll visit naturally on our way. There's a shrine happening naturally along our way to an objective. I'll veer off to it starting off here. But if it's like way out there, like, I think I've got a shrine like marked. I don't have a shrine marked way out there. There's a shrine like way out of the way I've got marked somewhere at this point. I'm not going to go there right away. Dang it, I scared off a darner. I'm not going to go there right now, because it's way off the beaten path, but eventually we will start going there. Ah, this lovely face. This is a lovely face I will be helping constantly. Let me get a quick peek here. This is Addison. And how is your sign designed? Okay. Addison will be holding up these signs of Hudson, which, if you remember, was basically became the president of the building company, so to say, in Breath of the Wild after some time. So Addison will be holding on to Hudson signs. It would behoove you to help him if you do see him on your journeys. So bust out your Ultra Hand and try and help him to the best of your abilities. Now this one is kind of a starter one. Oh gosh, we don't have anything that can go there, do we? Huh. This is going to be kind of weird. Okay. I think I know how to handle this, so you can drop that down. Some of these are going to be a little more obvious how you can handle them as time goes along. But starting off here, we're going to do one of these right now that's actually kind of a little... It doesn't make sense, we'll say. What I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to attempt to make a sort of crisscross pattern bridging thing like this that is tied nowhere where I want it to be. Let go. Like that. I can make that work. But it's kind of a weird thing where it's just like you're going to be trying to help him hold up these signs, but you have to account for, well, total control of the sign, so to say. Now, starting off here, I may just keep you with me while I figure out how to do this the most quote-unquote efficient way possible. Spoilers, not the most efficient way possible, because I am not that smart with this kind of stuff. Case in point. But as time goes along, I may just do these building projects on with my own time. That may do it. As things go along, if I can't think of the solution right away, I may cut this out. But oh, I figured it out right away. So he would have gone into a whole thing about how, hey, I need to hold this sign to spread President Hudson's influence on Hyrule and its building. And then he'll be like, oh, hey, let go of the sign and see what happens. So these aren't quests, and Addison is sprinkled all over Hyrule. But Addison is kind of like Korok Seeds, where if you happen to find him, help him, he'll give you some things to make your adventure easier. You haven't heard about Mr. Hudson? He's the president of the construction company, and he's the one appointed by the princess herself. She placed him in charge of putting those material caches everywhere, and now he's shouldering Hyrule's restoration. Of course, he's also the founder of Hudson Construction, and besides all that, what's all this? Hey, I'm right in the middle of President Hudson's epic tale of heroism. I was there. I helped him. Well, fine. What was I doing for? I don't want to get all this. I was getting jealous, so I haven't spread this around. But President Hudson gave me an extra special mission. And that's to put up these signs all over the place to let everyone know that Hudson Construction is a big deal. These aren't your ordinary signs, as you can clearly see. They portray Mr. Hudson himself in detail. Noble, glorious detail. It's unforgivable for even one of these to fall over. And so, I shall continue to support him. Still, thanks to you, I don't need to support the sign anymore. Take this as my thanks. So helping Addison, he will give you typically 20 rupees. He'll also give you a random cooking recipe, which he'll give us veggie rice balls. Nice. And he'll also give us something a little bit extra. Sleepover tickets, basically free stay at our stable, which we haven't seen the stable yet. We'll get to that when we get there. But he can also give you items from an area we haven't seen yet. I go to other place to put up more signs. And with that, I'm off. Bye, Addison. So Addison is a new character in Tears of the Kingdom, and will be a recurring character we'll see throughout our adventure. Probably just like a 1 minute to 30 seconds handoff every time we happen across him. But oh, oops. Well, that's a lizard gone. This person's oddly enough, is going to give us tutorials about how shrines work. I already know how shrines work. So let's do our first shrine on the surface. So, as I've said before, there are I believe I've said before anyway, there are 152 shrines in this game. If I'm recalling correctly, which I could be wrong, because remembering things from something you did 5-6 years ago is really hard to do. That is more shrines. There are equal or more shrines in Tears of the Kingdom than there were in Breath of the Wild after Breath of the Wild DLC. Now, I'm going to go to the map just to show this really quick, but for all intents and purposes, how shrines are structured in this game is that... I'm sorry, I'm trying to parse the information in my head. How shrines are structured in the game is that the lookout landing that we've been to is like the start of the game, the very beginning base points of the game. That's where difficulty starts for both encounters with random enemies and also with shrines. So the closer you are to lookout landing, the easier the shrine will be. So there's like... Well, we have a couple marked. We have a couple marked in our map already, but most of the shrines that are like super close to lookout landing here are going to be combat tutorials for various actions you can do in the game, which I may have already talked about. As we get further out away, they'll be more specialized in like proper puzzles and making you use the new mechanics of the game in more detail, things of that sort. So basically, if you want to learn some more quote unquote more advanced tech in the game involving combat and whatnot, try and stay inside of this initial central I guess quadrant of the map. But when you're ready to look into more like specialized stuff, tear off. Split off from the beaten path. Anyway, with these trials that we have to do here, the game is going to make us do very specific tasks to clear them. As in, unless we do the thing that the game asks of us to do, unless we do those specific things, our actions will do 0 damage. Use the side hop to avoid the enemy attacks. This will create an opening that you can use to strike back. So this is where you're first talked about, well, dodging using side hops and whatnot. Oh, I don't have a shield, do I? So this will talk about basically how to initiate a flurry rush. Before we start that, let me get out something that is... we'll get out the stick, screw it. The timing on this is much more generous than anywhere else in the game. But yeah, the timing on these are going to be a lot more generous. Like, the enemy here didn't even swing their weapon, and I already dodged it. Yeah, they didn't even swing their weapon this time. The window is not this open. Also, the parry mechanic, which I talked about very lightly, but the parry mechanic. This one requires a little more timing. It is that, but you basically have to be... You have to basically be a little more forethought with this. I like how I'm trying to do it. My controller isn't dead, so... Like that. Yeah. Build up your power and then release it. Unless you charge attack. This I have already talked about. I've already talked about charge attacks. But they have to do it to let you do the proper damage to finish the fight. Your mastery of these techniques has earned you access. Proceed within. Okay. I don't believe we have any room. I think, yeah. Okay, Rusty, we don't care about that too much. If you're worried about the durability of some of your weapons and whatnot, they do provide you at least one weapon and shield at the start of these particular trials, so... I should say, I don't believe you are ever completely locked out of a shrine if you ever finish a task in question. But, so, if there's some items in there you want, kind of like starter items or something you missed, you can always go back in. Also, we're going to replace a sword with that, for that Zonai sword. I have 2 axes. That's another thing with chests in shrines. You do actually have to take the items out of the chest in order for it to count as collecting all chests in the shrine. So, if you go to a shrine and can't take an item out of a chest, drop something and take it out. Otherwise, it doesn't count as completing the shrine. I pressed the A button. I should say, like, I'm not that far away from my Nintendo Switch, so I'm not sure why a lot of my inputs are happening super late. Like, I would thunk my Switch right now, but I'd rather not mess up the recording, just in case, like, I hit it just right to knock it out of the dock. But, like, my Switch is less than an arm's length away from me right now. So I'm not sure why I'm having, like, weird delay issues. Now, I could go around the shrines. You can see, like, that shrine over there you can see. That's probably another, like, combat tutorial. Like, we'll go to those shrines in due time and probably even do them out of order because I have varying ideas and plans. I'm going to skip talking to NPCs for now. Most of them just have the same thing of, hey, if you're looking to help with the survey team or the search team in this project, you should go talk to Captain Hawes. Almost everyone is going to say, hey, you should go talk to Captain Hawes. Getting to Captain Hawes is it can have more eloquent ways to do it, but the best way I found to get closer to him is just to go around this way. I'll look at this here just to say, there are little caves you can go to and whatnot, but keep in mind, we don't have a nice way to go down. We have a nice way to go up. We don't have a nice way to go down for a little bit, so do not go jumping directly down towards something to explore it right now. Simply because the way to come back up, or the way to get down there, may lead to you shattering your shins. I'm gonna... Hello. Where do you think you're going? Link, no, it can't be him. I can't allow anyone past here. Oh. I can't even go explore places, huh? We shall continue our quest to find Captain Haas next time. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you then. Take care.